Let me get that again on the recording. I am not a licensed attorney or a tax expert. I do this for educational and informational purposes only. Now, did y'all get the book, man? If y'all
definitely. Appreciate that.
Hey, no doubt.
I didn't get it.
Who didn't get the book?
No, I didn't get it.
Are you in the chat or are you on the phone?
I'm on a free conference call in the chat.
Well, I'm putting it in the chat. I'm talking about where you can chat to me.
Yeah, I got you.
If you can.
Okay, I see it. I got it now. 47 pages for creditors and their bonds.
All right, I'm sending stuff
it's
now.
Two, right?
Now,
it's
the book
right?
I did is pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two. One of them is not mine. One of them is bonds and creditors.
Okay, I only got the creditors and their bonds. That's it.
The other one just got sent in the chat as well.
Okay. Cool. Got it.
All right. Oh, that ain't even the right book. But y'all can get that book too. Shit. That ain't the right book. I just hooked y'all up though. That's a whole nother book. So that book, listen, that book I just put in, that is how to turn your name into a sole proprietorship, okay?
Okay.
And that is to get your name established for the business credit side. So for some reason Allah wants you guys to have that.
For sure.
For some reason Allah wants y'all to have that because I gave it to you. It's not like I could take it back.
I mean, don't argue with them.
Hey, so that $10 y'all sent, man, went a long way. So I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all read it, though. But don't worry, we'll go over that another day. Because I plan on going over that book anyways. I got to revamp it because Amazon won't let me put it out for some copyright infringement issues on the book. But the first book we're going to go over is the... I said we're going to go over the creditors and the bonds book first. We're going to go through that first.
I got it printed out already.
So right now, does anybody got any issues at hand? So I got.
Are you working tomorrow?
I got one person that hit me up. That's got an indictment for some weed issues, right?
That's me.
Okay. So we gonna. You said that's me. You ain't gotta say that. It's not you. That's your state. It's not you. That's the problem. We be thinking it's us.
All right.
Not you.
No, man, that was me that hit you up, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. That's not you. You gotta remember, you're a king. You're a king always. Period. Point blank. Period. This is your court. You didn't hurt nobody. Fuck them. You go in there scared, listen to what the fuck they say. Just like when you fill this paperwork out, like when people be on the private side talking about, they said they don't understand my paperwork. Of course they're not, because you're talking to them from a sovereign capacity. You're talking to them from facts point of view. They don't understand facts. They only understand fiction. So you know what? Scratch that. We ain't gonna go to the creditors and the bonds book. Since I sent this book out to y'all, we're gonna go through that book first, man. Y'all need to see how important this is. There's an older book. I got to revamp it. Don't call the numbers in there. None of that. So, if y'all got any issues, just make sure you put them in the chat. We got one person said foreclosure. I'll touch on that too, man. Just depends on how long you're going to stay on, man. I'm here as long as it takes. I got plenty of tree. So, I'm going to mute y'all for right now, so just put it in the chat.
All right.
All right. It says, congratulations, you have purchased one of the most vital training courses when it comes to your financial life. It's going to teach you how to start over. And you'll learn how to get established and create a credit profile. And the reason why this is important, the credit profile, because all crimes are commercial. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. And I know some of y'all that have been following me and stuff, Been following along? You gotta go to 28 USC 3002 again. You gotta understand 28 USC 3002. This is their definitions. This is their definitions. Their definitions. Do you understand? So what that means is, when you go to court, since all crimes are commercial, that's why when they say you accept this charge, a charge, what is a charge? What's the actual charge? You know, you go in a bank, you get a charge. You go, I mean, if we're talking about energy and labor, it's a different charge as well, you know? It just depends on what aspect you want to look at it from. But you got to understand that all courts have to be created by Congress lawfully. And if they're not created by Congress, then it's a tax issue. And that's what the definition 28 U.S.C. 2002 breaks down. And then it also shows that any debt is amount owing to the United States. You look up what United States is. The United States is a federal corporation when you go down to subsection 15A. Even when you're dealing with the state corporations, under subsection 14, state means several of the United States. So you got to always go back to these definitions. Be careful saying you're a person. You look at definition 10. Person includes a natural person and a corporation. So they're all one and the same. Debtor means a person who is liable for a debt. When you go to court, that makes you a debtor. You owe society now. And they claim to be society, but society is the republic. The republic is the people. So this is the things you need to understand. So when we're going in this book, this is going to show you about how to protect your housing, transportation, incomes, and assets. And this stuff is important because everything that you work for or think you own, the government comes in and claims it and says it's theirs. And you're just renting it from them. You're just a beneficial owner. You just got right of use. It's not actually yours. That's why you have to pay taxes to rent it. You understand? So we're going to go over the public side. Once again, I'm going to go over this again. Sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship. This is what your name is. Anytime you see your name in all capitalized letters, peace and love, John Wiley, peace and love. He said his first time from Texas. Anytime you see your name in all capitalized letters, it's deemed as a sole proprietorship. So, and I can't make this stuff up. So when you look at my name, I already got my name as a certificate. My name is already an LLC. My name is a LLC. So that's the first thing. Now, what we're going to go over today is turning your name into a sole proprietorship, because there's different ways you can go about this. There's different ways to skin the cat. But as long as you get it out the sole proprietorship, I mean, we're going to show your name how to turn it into an S corp, an S corporation. But you have to get it from the sole proprietorship side. And here's why. What is a sole proprietorship? A sole proprietorship is the simplest business form under which one can operate a business. The sole proprietorship is not a legal entity. It simply refers to a person who owns the business and is personally responsible for its debts. A sole proprietorship, also known as a sole trader, individual entrepreneurship, or proprietorship, is a type of enterprise that is owned and run by one person in which there is no legal distinction between the owner and the business entity. So you have to understand your name is in business. You're working for yourself always. If you're giving up your labor, you're working for yourself, and they give you exchange of paper. Follow me? So your mental and physical health, even as they relate to your relationships, are simply mirrors to these things. If you feel good, you're going to have great things. If you feel like you're worth something, you're going to have people in your life that bring you value. Okay? You understand? Because your eyes focused on the prize. You're focused on the right things. When you get a new car, you're going to see that car everywhere. So whatever's going on in your mind, that's what you're going to bring about around you. You got to understand how important your energy is. You are big business. You make this here matrix real. So this is all there is, except or not. Most people wake up and immediately think about income. People kill themselves because they feel like they don't have enough money. People kill themselves when they go to work. Peace and love, Teresa Barnett. Peace and love, Autumn Trotter, and everybody else that's leaving messages. So people wake up immediately thinking about income, assets, housing, transportation, more than anything else. Your thoughts and feelings on your current status with these things easily makes its way into how you think others see you, how you see yourself, and how you feel in general. If you are down right now, I have great news for you. You are one thought away from those who are up. That's right. I've worked with lots of millionaires. Worked with lots of millionaires, couple billionaires. Teaching them the same stuff because they know certain principles. But they don't know everything that's spiritual. They don't know the spiritual side. And right now I see a lot of people join us right now, and I appreciate y'all. Make sure you continue to like, comment, and share. Let us know who's in the building. Let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're from, man, if you're on the YouTube, man. Type in the chat. Let us know what city and state you're from. So one thing that separates the middle class and those in poverty is how they think and feel and what to do right now, all right? So learning is earning. The more you learn, the more you will earn. You change your thoughts, you change your feelings, you change your actions, that changes your life. Period. So some people call these things PCNs, CPNs. I'm going over a simple way for your business, a business credit profile number. This is what I'm going over for you. Some people call it a personal corporation number because it's for your person. Like even when you create a trust number, that's a personal corporation number because you're turning your trust into a corporation. Peace and love, Denver, Colorado. Peace and love, Massachusetts Business Trust. Peace and love, New York. Peace and love, Fort Worth, Texas. Right now I'm in Beverly Hills, baby. Living that lavish life. Feels good. Feels good. I was just in San Antonio. So I was just in Texas, too. I'm always in Texas. Shout out to Houston, too. So those of you that have a little knowledge of starting a corporation should know that the number is an employee identification number. This is what I'm going over today, okay? However, the EIN alone is not a secret ingredient that's going to make it all work, okay? The EIN alone is not going to make it work. You're going to understand that. This is a shout out to Houston. The employee identification number is the federal employee identification, the FEIN. Okay? It's a unique 9-digit number, just like your social, and it's assigned by the Internal Revenue Service. Shout out to Salt Lake City, Utah. Shout out to Yucca Valley, California. Shout out to Miami, Florida. Peace and love to Miami. Love Miami. And this number is for the purposes of identification. This is how you're identified. This is how they identify things, okay? So when you think of a Social Security number or a CPN or EIN, any of these numbers, you should always think of two words: identification and use. Those are the words you have to think about. There are a lot of ignorant people online trying to convince people that this stuff is illegal. However, it's not. And I'm going to break down why. I'm going to show you how we do it, how you're supposed to do it, and what you can do. The book shows you exactly what a Social Security number is and how they utilize it to track you. So you got to think about Donald Trump. By saying I don't pay as much taxes because I know about the loopholes and laws that allow me not to pay personal income tax. By understanding the foundations of the Social Security number, the IRS, the EIN, and all government establishments, you can do the same loopholes. Get business loans and not pay a lot. Income taxes. So to start, we must understand and remember that the United States of America, like I showed you, is not truly a nation alone, but it is a corporation. United States of America Incorporated. This is corporate America, baby. You gotta understand that first. Yeah, baby. Yeah. So, the so-called country that you know as America it's a corporation. And for the sake of identification and use, the powers that control the USA have made many believe that they were not a corporation or controlled by corporations. This is why they have a president. If you understand corporations, you understand their different roles. This is why I say trustee traineeship. You take trustee training, train with us. We'll teach you different roles of corporations, business entities, and trust. So you have to re-examine corporations and why the elites hide behind it. A corporation is a company or group of people authorized to act as a single entity, legally a person and recognized as such in law, or a group of people elected to govern a city, town, or borough. So legally a person and recognized as such in law. So does this definition sound a little like how you already been treated as a citizen of the United States? The truth is that is exactly how they see you. Exactly how they see you. So your legal name, the government, is also not real because it's a corporation according to Black's Law Dictionary 6th edition. A corporation is an artificial person or legal entity created by or under the authority of the laws of a state. Yet it can and does go into business contractual agreements with you. Therefore, in order to even the playing ground, you simply need to do the same thing. You become a corporation. These are men behind these things doing this. Men and women, so you can do the exact same thing. This is what you got to understand. We're sitting here getting scared of the boogeyman, fictitious entities, alphabet boys. This is why they taught you the alphabet. First they taught you Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and then they taught you the alphabet to the same beat. Spelling, spell casting. You're scared of the boogeyman because you don't want to learn the knowledge. When you start learning it, you become powerful. Because the government, which govern means to control, ment means mind. Ment or menta. That's what, dementia. You understand? Because the government is a corporation or artificial person, it is a fictitious entity, which fictitious means fake, that should not have any natural rights and powers, yet that is not the case. So then you go look at your contract. These are contracts. Your ID is a contract. Your Social Security card is a contract. Your birth certificate is a contract. Your legal name. The reason why your legal name is already written or typed in all capitalized letters is because they are seeking to get you to acknowledge and accept whatever contract and agreement they are presenting you with. It all starts with your ID, in which you have provided some type of proof that you are that person and that you agree and accept the terms of the contract to obtain the ID and agree and accept the terms of the contracts, such as the state ID, the driver's license, the passport. From that point on, you can and will be identified as that person in corporation because you asked to be. You applied for these things. Like I talk about Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan. Look up who Elijah Pule Bey was. So Malcolm X didn't even die. Malcolm X, El Malik Shabazz. So you gotta understand, you can legally change your name at any time without getting married or divorced, because the reason being is because you're not your name according to law. You are a breathing and living being that can only be known as or identified as. Therefore, the government and its affiliates must be very careful in getting you to accept, claim, and prove you are the legal name in all contracts with them mentally, verbally, and in writing. Otherwise, their contracts with you are not legal or binding. You say it again. I'm letting it sink in right now. You can legally change your name at any given time because you are a living, breathing being. You are not your name according to law. You can only be known or identified as. Therefore, the government and its affiliates must be very careful in getting you to accept, claim, and prove you are the legal name in all contracts with them mentally, verbally, and in writing. Otherwise, their contracts with you are not legally binding. When you get an attorney, that means you're not of sound mind. You're not competent. The bottom line is that all this legal trickery is due to the fact that at any time or place, any and all American citizens can become aware of the true rights as human beings and not corporations or legal persons. Then every government agency or business that has ever done business with them as humans can be left without having any legal contracts. Therefore, to save themselves, every government agency and business will be very careful in making sure you accept your legal name and identify with any contracts or transactions they do with you. Now, this is taking me a lot of time and study, so you're not going to get it overnight. You still going to have to study, okay? So the corporation and business is always you. You're the bookkeeper. This stuff is fake. This stuff is a game. This is why they're called government actors. You understand? Government actors. That's why it's on the record. What's on the record? So, just like everything else that the government, top 1% in powers that control the majority wants to hide is right in plain sight. Always. In fact, most of the secrets to financial and legal freedom in America has been hiding in plain sight for over a century. So I'm going to say this again so you guys so it makes sense. When you hear the name Michael Jordan or Donald J. Trump, you don't know if they're talking about the corporation or the human. So more than likely it has anything to do with banking, credit, or even advertisement, they're talking about the corporation. So if you think about what I started about the government treating us like corporations to begin with and how they create this so-called straw man for you, it's easy to see how you can take it back because it's a sole proprietorship. It's a sole proprietorship. So if you were to go to court behind some legal documents, you can easily tell the court, you have no jurisdiction over me. The answer is mainly because most corporations must be tried in civil court. You have to break down the definitions to them. And it must be distinguished and termed as such. So, if you know the difference in benefits of corporations as opposed to a sole proprietor, you already know the benefits of a corporation as opposed to a sole proprietor? You should already know why. And here's some of the reasons, the financial reasons. As a corporation instead of a sole proprietor, you can take control of your legal straw man name. You keep yourself separate from lawsuits and protect your assets. You can build credit way faster. It's business credit. Your name is a business. I was disconnected. My apologies. So the benefits of a corporation, making your name a corporation, as opposed to a sole proprietor, because your name's a sole proprietor already. You should already know why. The benefits. See, a lot of people are asking questions in the YouTube. If you want to ask questions, this is why you donate the $10 to the Cash App and join the discussions. But I will have, it will be open for questions, everybody that's joining me in the chat, that's joining me in the group tonight, the class discussions. So as a corporation instead of a sole proprietor, you can take control of your legal name, your straw man, keep yourself legal from lawsuits and protect your assets. You're going to build credit faster and get it more likely than 10 times more the amount. If you got $1,000 on your personal credit, you can get $10,000 on your business credit easily. You'll save on taxes, you'll function as a real separate legal entity, and you get employers to pay you via 1099. Because you can prove you're an independent contractor, your name's a business. Especially if they're already contracting with you already. They've already dealt the contract with you, now you just reconvey the taxes. You redo the forms. Now the personal credit, I show them that I changed the name, I show them the name certificate, and then I send them my dispute forms and send them the 1099 OIDs. So you got to understand, only corporations can send off 1099 OIDs. This is why your status has to be corrected properly. You go in there trying to fill out 1099 OIDs from a personal standpoint, they're going to blame your ass because they don't even recognize sole proprietorships. The government likes corporations. You got to understand that. The IRS likes corporations. Corporation, it gains from interest. Citizens, it spends for interest. Directly tied to your energy. So, in the book, I show you how to break it down. You register your corporation, and you get you an EIN. Get you the EIN for the corporation. You make sure you have a registered agent. You're going to need a registered agent. And there's certain ways that you have to set this up, along with make sure you have the business address, make sure you got the business phone number, you got the business email, you have the website to prove this is a business. Make sure you go list yourself 411. So it's all attached to an actual business. Everything is fictitious. So you choose your corporation type. The book's showing you how to do it under S Corp, but C Corp works as well. You need to learn and study and figure out the difference. And then you're going to want to file this with your Secretary of State. That's the next part. Once you register the corporation with the Secretary of State, then you can open up a business account. And then you get a DUNS number, and then once that's approved, you apply for credit. So now you can prove it's a business. Okay? So, I went over that kind of fast. But I need you to understand that it's a business. Now, to the color of law discussion, workbook, Business Trust Law, brought to you by BusinessTrustLaw.com. First thing you're going to need when dealing with these fictitious courts, back to my man with the weed case. If I had a weed case, this is what I would do. First, you need to understand the definition of a true bill. An indictment is considered a true bill. You only send bills to corporations. You follow me? A bill of indictment found by a grand jury to be supported by sufficient evidence to justify the hearing of a case. A bill. A bill is something that has to be paid. Everything is bills of exchange. So first, you've got to have proper status and standing. We already know that your name's a corporation. You're going to have to send them a certificate. I would also put my EIN on file. Some people do certificate of identity. There's so many different ways. But first things first, you're going to have to revoke the powers of attorney. You're going to have to send them a power of attorney. I put in the book a Form 2848, which is the power of attorney and declaration of representative. And as you can see, I'm zooming in for you guys. You will put the taxpayer identification number will be your social because that's what it's attached to. And then the taxpayer name and address. Okay? With this, I always put the virtual address on this right here. I always put the business information right here as well. I don't distinguish the difference between the sole proprietorship and the corporation, but I still utilize the social, but it's still attached to the corporation. When doing so, you make sure you put the name and address and the live person's name underneath because it has to have a representative. You can also put the telephone number. You can put the, this is why I say have a business number because that's for business purposes only. Also, the name and address underneath when you send copies and communications, it's going to be Raul Maldonado. He's the director of the Puerto Rican Treasury. And you send that to him, his departments, or his successors and assigns. And there's the address for you guys at San Juan, Puerto Rico. Because a lot of people want to know who to send a lot of this stuff to. The other one is Stephen Turner Muchin. And he's doing business as Secretary of Treasury. Now, David J. Coucher, he's the IRS commissioner. This all goes, you appointed to them, to the successors and assigns. And no, this class is $10 a week for the Cash App. We will need your monthly donation or your weekly donation to join. So those are the people right there with the phone numbers. And then on number 3, this is what I would put. This request is for return to the source for settlement and closing in exchange for Treasury Direct account number. Then you put your account number. And place an X in the box at the top of Form 1099 OID where it says corrected. Settle all interstate conflict of law, aka private law, commercial fraud, parity of Form SS, and it would be for all valid trust instruments and amendments, zero out all years through 2018 on account number for settlement and closure. And you always sign it. We always put not applicable on the date. And then this one on the title says living man, non-citizen, national, non-taxpayer, sui juris, principal, secured party creditor, and American. Any act not identifying you as a sponsor for the credit that the funds that the Treasury bill proves payment using his or her credit exemption. You put all this on the power of attorney. A lot of people don't understand. And you'll show up as the authorized representative. Now next, what's this attached to? A simple declaration of status. Let you know that you're there in divine spirit, incarnate as man or woman. There is no proof to the contrary. You was born alive on the geographical location, body known as your birth state. There is no proof to the contrary. Your first, middle, and family name is, and then your last. There's no proof to the contrary. You don't consent to being a U.S. citizen or a citizen of any corporate body, politic on earth. There's no proof to the contrary. You don't consent to any express or implied contracts, trust indentures, trust instruments, bailment agreements, or any agreements made either publicly or privately with any natural or artificial person. You terminate all agreements on the grounds they were previously signed under threat, duress, and coercion and incompetence. There's more. I'm just going over. This is a simple status correction, and you fill it out nunc pro tunc. Nunc pro tunc. From the beginning of time. Next, you also want to make sure you have a declaration of rescission of surety. This also is rescinding all your signatures, because your signatures then become surety on these contracts. These contracts become surety. This is what attached you. Your signature is what attaches you to the contracts. You signed it, now you're attached. You feel like you're bound to this contract. You feel like you're bound to these terms and agreements. So that's your surety. The contract has now become surety. You have now securitized this agreement when you signed it. So you rescind and revoke them. Nunc pro tunc, ab initio. Every signature of suretyship, public and private, ever provided. You extend the rescission of surety to every public entity, government, contract, be it federal, state, county, and or city, including your city and municipal corporations, including but not limited to the initial application for a Social Security number, taxpayer identification number, every individual or corporate tax return ever filed, be it federal, state, county, and or city, every application for a business license and business license number, every court document ever signed in any legal action, city and or criminal, every contract and court document signed as a defendant or probationer. I'm going to state that again. This is why you guys got to read. Every court document ever signed in any legal action, civil and or criminal. Every contract and court document signed as a defendant or probationer. You got to understand, this is always your court. You make the rules. What you say goes. If you didn't hurt nobody, you don't have no victim other than the state. It's your court. Whatever you say goes. But you have to put it in the right formatting. You have to assess the right text, assess the right books, okay? Declarant extends to every private business this rescission of signature or suretyship, including but not limited to every application for a bank account, individual and business, every application for any form of insurance. You give this to the United States. You give this to these corporations that we just went over. Up above, the people doing the bookkeeping. Then declare your proper name. You have to acknowledge and accept the deed coming as the grantee, because you got to understand, listen, they made you the beneficiary, but you have to accept the deed and then call the shots. Equity regards the beneficiary as the true owner. Equity will not aid a volunteer. Equity will not complete an imperfect gift. Equity regards as done that which ought to have been done. Where equities are equal, the law will prevail. Between equal equities, the first in order of time shall prevail. Among unequal equities, the greater equity shall prevail. Then you have to appoint your general executor for your estate. Then you have to do a resignation of resident agent, showing that you're not a resident. Always do this stuff in sui juris, which means you're in the right mind, in the age of majority, you're in sound mind and competent to testify in contract. You have to rescind the resident agent. If you've been using zip codes and addresses as such, signing with people, this made you a resident agent. Declarant hereby resigns resident agency and extends this disclaimer to every public and or private government trust relations, be it federal, state, county, and or city. This disclaimer and refusal of trusteeship and resignation of resident agent includes but is not limited to permits, license, including driver's license, business and marriage license, social security cards, agreements, voters registration, birth certificates, insurance applications, federal student loans, student aid, and all other student documentation, taxpayer identification numbers, marriages, warrants, any and all court documents, civil or criminal bonds, commercial paper, traffic tickets, selective service applications, and as such, man. It keeps going on and on, man. I'm bringing this stuff here for you, man. You paid $10 for this. You gave me a $10 donation if you're joining me in the chat. And everybody ain't even joining. I sent everybody this stuff. Let's see. I got 13 people in the chat right now. Ain't that's a damn shame. I got 73 people watching me right now. Last night I had a bunch of people last night. I got 13 people in the chat getting this crack right now. Next thing you want to do is a affidavit of secured party creditor. Affidavit of status of secured party and creditor. And that's self-explanatory. Read through it. Self-explanatory. You have to, listen, until you update your status first, you don't have standing. Follow me. Then, you're going to, not only are you going to send this stuff if you're in a court jam, I would send this to the courts, the clerk of courts. You're going to have to give copies to the for the prosecutor. Pro se. That's why you never want to be in pro se. Prosecutor of him or herself. The prosecutor is executing on behalf of you. So don't ever put pro se. You're their sui juris. This is a jurisdiction. So there it is. Send it to your Secretary of State and tell them to authenticate and certify the copies. This is going to make it a deed. When you get these copies certified, it's going to make it a deed. Also, you're going to want to send it to your county clerk. If you have a superior clerk there, send it to them. You're going to also want to send this to your district court, your chief judge in your district court. And you tell them what to do with it. You have to give them the cover letters, and there they go. There's some cover letters. Next thing you're going to want to send to the courts. This is what I would do. I would send this to the clerk. I would send this to the judge. I would send this to the prosecutor. I would send this to the federal courts, the district courts. I would send this to everybody. If you got an issue, you put everybody on those. The attorney generals, the SEC commission. And this is the letter of rogatory of relief. So I'll put Don of the family Kilam, or Malik of the family Kilam, a living soul and breathing man, an executor for the Malik Kilam, Sister K Trust. Notice the court of my letter of rogatory. And you have to understand what rogatory means. What is a letter of rogatory? Letter of rogatory is a letter to a foreign court. I'm going to look it up for you guys. Letters of rogatory or letters of request are a formal request from a court to a foreign court for some type of judicial assistance. The most common remedies sought by letters of rogatory are service of process and taking of evidence. So we're taking evidence on this one. We demand our name be cleared. Demand means assertion of a legal right. These are words you have to use, because when you file a motion, you're asking the courts to move. You're praying for relief. Let me move, court. When you make a plea, you're begging. No. So if you made a plea, first thing I would do, if I had made a plea, I would withdraw my plea due to newly discovered evidence, and I want to enter a plea. I want to enter a negative plea under general traverse. Now, you can do that at any time. I want to enter a plea. I want to enter a negative plea under general traverse. You withdraw the plea via nunc pro tunc. You enter the plea via nunc pro tunc. The beginning of time to forevermore, retroactive. NUNC PROTUNC. Look it up. Nunc pro tunc. So, also, a fact can never enter the courtroom. So, if you was to have to, how do you plead? I plead guilty to the facts, but not the crime. I plead guilty to the facts, but not the crime. Malik Kilam have learned that the alleged court has scheduled a cause claim, and it's not really a court per the Constitution of the United States. It's not an Article 3 court, but rather a military tribunal under admiralty jurisdiction and is operated as private for-profit corporation listed on Dun & Bradstreet. This is why you get listed as Dun & Bradstreet as well. I have learned of the fraud that goes on behind the scenes of these alleged criminal cases, which are really civil claims in equity. My apologies, my apologies. When you're on Instagram, you can only rock with for an hour. That's why I tell y'all. Somebody said don't give up on us. Man, y'all gave up on yourselves. If you feel like somebody gave up on you, that means you gave up on yourself. There's always going to be people out there that's going to invest in you if you're investing in yourself, whether it's your time, your charity work. See, you're not going to get nothing in life anyways unless you're giving out something. You have to be of value. You have to be worth something. A lot of people want to talk about this credit money. What's your value? What value are you bringing to the world? Just waking up, watching TV all day, watching YouTube all day, not doing shit, sitting on your ass? What you doing? How are you helping people out here? What's your talents? What God creates you for? You understand? Yeah, man, I'm going to take a quick break, man. I got to let y'all know, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me right now, though. I appreciate y'all because y'all made me. Make sure y'all go to DonKilam.com. Every Sunday, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, 11 p.m. Central Time, I Am More Excellence. That's open to the public. You can dial in at 339-209-6935. Again, that's 339-209-6935. Every Monday, and right now, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Business Trust Law. We're having color law discussions. You cash at MoreBeauty7, MoorBeauty7. Make sure you put your email address in the memo box, all right? You want access to that meeting. I am in San Diego, September 12th. There's a few tickets left. Go to DonKilam.com or hit me up for the Cash App. Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 22nd. Baton Rouge, September 25th. Columbus, Ohio, October 10th. Detroit, Michigan, October 14th. Chicago, Illinois, October 17th. St. Paul, Minnesota, October 24th. Atlanta, Georgia, November 1st. Then I'm back in Texas, November 7th. So if you can't make it, September 22nd, Dallas, Texas, I'll be back in Houston, November 7th. Denver, I'll be back in Denver, Colorado, November 14th. Las Vegas, I'll be there November 21st. Honolulu, Hawaii, December 1st. And if you want to catch me on the live stream, you want the live private meeting, $25 donation, Honolulu, Hawaii, December 1st. And I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, December 12th, and December 19th, Fresno, California. I don't want to miss that stuff, man. I'm out here doing great things. If anybody has any questions right now, this is the time to ask. Dude put his email address. I sent you the email. You might want to recheck the email that you used signing up. But I got you. But like I said, put the emails in the Cash App because I'm not going to keep going back and reverting and doing things when y'all didn't follow instructions. Like I got last minute orders. Do you know how frustrating that is? Y'all donate $10 and class starts in 15 minutes when I'm trying to prepare for class. You follow me? So make sure you give me adequate time. Give me adequate time and be mindful. When you become a member, don't message me talking about this class start at 9 o'clock. Why would you do that? Why would you just hit me up for a yes or no question? I got almost 500 private members right now that I'm dealing with. You understand? So this is why I give you the material. I give you the study. You can book a call with me for a little bit of nothing. You got a question? You got a quick question? Send me $50 on a Cash App and put the question put the question. I respond back. That's how money talks, baby. I respond back. I respond right back. I probably reply with $1 or something. It's a good question. I might reply with $5. It's great. If it's a great question, I might just send you your whole bag back. Right here, man, I might send you some more back. That's how that works. Y'all just be texting me, asking me bullshit ass questions. Go study, go read a book, shit you can find on Google. Go Google it. Are you that lazy? That's what I be wondering. Gotta be. The same question you asked me, you couldn't go do a little research on Google. That's the stuff I be talking about. I'm not gonna respond. I don't care if you're a member or not. Keep it 100. This class started at 8 o'clock. Did you get the email? Did you go to the website? Did you see the pictures? Did you see the flyer? Did you go to the YouTube? Did you check the Instagram? You checking everybody else's shit. Check down Kilam's instead of texting him and asking that shit. I got 500 people that I'm working with, one-on-one. And only a small smidget, maybe 20%, get this shit. You follow me? And then there is some people that I work with that didn't drop full membership donations because they do get this shit. So I do have to do, that's my charity work. You understand? It's people like that that really want this shit that I have a little faith in. You know, I've been let down many times. And as if y'all been rocking with me since day one, y'all see that there's been people I've been trying to invest in, fucking up their own prosperity. Then they see you out here getting it, they try to beg you back. Or try to talk bad on your name. That's all good. That's how people operate. Because they don't want to let go. They're self-centered. Everybody's there. Everybody has their own motives and intentions. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I was raised by pimps. You know what I'm saying? When I got older, because growing up, I was raised by women, right? And then when I got locked up and shit, I was around pimps. I was around pimps. They taught me the game, all because I knew how to play spades and shit. And I do want to shout out to my family, man. Let me shout out to my uncles and shit that was there. You know, my father wasn't there, but I had uncles. I had a grandpa that was there. My grandpa was there. He was a pimp. He was a sucker for my grandma, but he was a pimp to everybody else. You follow me? My grandma had him wrapped around. You know what I'm saying? That's how my grandma had him. But he was a pimp for real. Just that one. There's always that one. So you need to understand, man, the federal government is a pimp. So you got to learn the pimp game. You got to learn the pimp rules. You got to learn how to be a pimp. And if you don't know how to fill out this paperwork, you better find somebody that can help you. You better get around like-minded studying the same stuff. You got to find these people. You got to find this community. Not be scared. It's out there. You got Facebook. You got Instagram. You got YouTube. You got Twitter. Just skim through the motherfuckers that's really out here. There's people out here really trying to learn and build. Just get rid of your selfish intentions and be disciplined and get it. And if you know somebody has it and they're requesting donations and you know they can help you, you need to do what you got to do to go get that money and grind and go get it. If you've been watching somebody's shit for free and you ain't sent them a donation, you need to fucking figure out how to grind and send them a donation, whether it's $5, $10. They appreciate that shit. Real shit. Somebody asked me, yeah, you can cash at me. Yes, if you find this information valuable, cash at me. MooreBeauty7, MOORBEAUTY7. You can click in the description box below as well, donkilam.com/donate. But you can click in the description box right below. It'll take you directly to the Cash app on the YouTube. But now back to the letter of rogatory. I don't even know what page we are. This is page 20 of 99. Okay? Just a quick Don Kilam book I just threw together for the people tonight that dropped a donation. I have learned of the fraud, and I'm fully aware of the process. So here's what's happening. You ready? What goes on behind the scenes of these alleged criminal cases, which are really civil claims in equity, and the steps taken to securitize these civil claims without giving full disclosure to the people. I'm hereby letting the courts know that I am opting out of any contract and do not allow any documents regarding me or my CECKENSTEINTRUST trust to be securitized and sold to investors. As you may be fully aware, the fraudulent process is as follows. All cases are civil, though often fraudulently called criminal. The courts are operating under trust law, assuming the defendant and respondent is a descendant or civil term mortis. I want y'all to see what this word means too. I always say civil mortis. This is how they're I'm not even going to try to verbatim it. I know what it means, so I got comprehension. They turn your name into you're dead. This is why it's writ of habeas corpus. So, I call it civil mortis, but it's civil terror mortis. And it means civil death. Is the loss of all or almost all civil rights by a person due to a conviction for a felony or due to an act by the government of a country that results in the loss of civil rights. So they take away all your rights. After finding the alleged defendant guilty, the court clerk sell the judgments to the federal courts. Since the defendant and or respondent is a descendant presumed to be a ward of the court, incompetent and of unsound mind, the court officials consider themselves a beneficiary as the powers that can be. International bankers have concocted a reverse trust scheme on we the people who are supposed to be the beneficiaries because we are the actual creditors. Hope this makes sense. Hope y'all. I don't know how simpler I can put it. When the judge asks if a person understands, he or she is asking if the person is liable for the bonds. I am not responsible for the bonds of this or these cases, but I will appoint the judge as trustee or fiduciary and be the beneficiary of all the proceeds. The judgments are stamped with something to the effect of paid to the order of on the back and taken to the federal discount window. This makes the judgment now a note. These notes are then pulled together and then become securities, which are yet to be pulled together and sold as bonds. These said bonds are liens against me, a defendant in error. Always correct your status. Defendant in error. Always correct your status. You're taking ownership. So we just took ownership of the bonds. These said bonds are liens against me, a defendant in error. The United States Attorney's Office has put a code number, a North American Identification Security Classification number, which is the NAICS, These NAICS numbers enable the United States Attorney's Office to trade globally on all securities. All U.S. federal courts are registered with the Department of Defense, the DOD, where they are registered with the Contractor Central Registration, the CCR. Under the DOD, which another department, which is called the Defense Logistics Information Service, a DLIS, which issues a CAGE code, which means a commercial and government entity, which everything corresponds with their bank accounts. This is why I say it's important to understand why they taught you the alphabet, why it's important to understand when you turn on the TV, you see NBC, ABC, CBS, and all. This stuff is done by programming. This stuff is done by design. To play upon your subconscious. Peace of love, peace of love, peace of love. Yes, a letter of rogatory can also be called a letter of instructions. Said United States Attorney's Office and the courts have a Duns and Bradstreet number showing that they're a corporation. Everything filed into court is securitized without the knowledge or consent of the people or of all the parties involved. All criminal cases not heard in an Article 3 court, District Court of the United States, are actually civil. However, the courts again commit fraud by labeling the cases as criminal, even for an infraction as minimum as a parking ticket. All cases which are pled out or have guilty convictions labeled as civil defendants through unlawful conversions as felons when they are not. This is a fraud upon the people at large and certainly fraud upon the alleged defendants in error. The bank account is at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York in New York City. The depository agreement is signed by the clerk of the court. All securities are then deposited with the DTC in New York. An escrow agent is then used as a go-between between the clerk's office and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Then the securities end up being listed through the 7th Circuit of Chicago, Illinois, then sent to the DTCC, which is the clearinghouse whom lists the securities for trading. All the lawyers involved are acting as private debt collectors, according to the FDCPA, Title 15, 1692. The Bar Association, which means British Accredited Registry, it's a bookkeeping agency and debt collection agency. The Bar Credit Registry Association exempts them from having to be registered as such. However, they operate through call warrants, which are like a put or a call, doing margin calls in which they convert a case through similar to a writ of execution, and they use the case number to buy equity securities. Now you got to understand what a warrant is. A warrant is just like a bill. A warrant is converted into a security. They ask you, do you understand your charge under the bills of exchange? And then they give you this warrant. What is a warrant? A stock warrant represents the right to purchase a company's stock at a specific price and at a specific date. A stock warrant is issued directly by a company to an investor. Stock options are purchased when it is believed the price of stock will go up or down. A stock warrant represents future capital for a company. They give you this because you're the investor and they're the company. You're about to invest in their company through your labor. That was smart, wasn't it? Good for you. Everything filed into a court is securitized and turned into negotiable instruments, and then turning them into securities. These items are sold at commercial items, calling them distressed debts through the Unifund. The items are then pulled together in what is now called a hedge fund, where they are sold globally. Anytime when there is risk management involved, it is for the securities. This is an underwriting company. When the hedge funds are going to the global market, they go through Lure, Herms, a bondholder, an underwriting company, and subdivision of Alliance SE of Munich, Germany. It's under PIMCO bond. P-I-M-C-O bond. And this is important. This is important. This part right here. After 9 months, all paper is converted to a security status. This is defined in Title 1577, AB1. It is now considered to be an investment contract. You just invested. The paper is endorsed to become a security, and the trust is then collapsed. They collapse the trust. It's been securitized, and the trust has been collapsed. The courts have an account with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF under Interpol. The judges involved and the U.S. attorneys involved do have an accessible oath of office because they cover up the fact that the oath of office is between them and the IMF. So they do not have an oath of office, but you can still demand for it. But they don't have one because the oath of office is between them and the IMF. These are bankers, fiduciaries. The U.S. judges and U.S. attorneys are actually employees of the IMF and have been expatriated out of the United States. They're no longer part of the United States. They are now unregistered foreign agents under Title 22, which states all foreign agents must be registered. The court judgments are deposited with the IMF. Since this case obviously involves me, I have a drawing to all the proceeds. See UCC 3-305 and 3-306, the Uniform Commercial Code. The court judgments are monopolized according to Title 16, which is a violation of antitrust and also unfair trade practices. Back to indictments. Indictments are true bills, meaning they are negotiable instruments. The district attorney failed to give me a 1099 OID showing me as the recipient of the funds, which is a fraud upon me. In my case, I have not been indicted but still request a 1099 OID unless the court wishes to close this account. If you have been indicted, you put indictments are true bills, meaning they are negotiable instruments. The district attorney failed to give me a 1099 OID showing me as the recipient of the funds, which is a fraud upon me. That's what I would put. The unlawful funds through fraud and deception are deposited in the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and they have not paid the tax on this income according to IRC. This is 7201 of Title 26 violation, willful failure to file with the intent to evade the tax. A copy of the depository resolution agreement was not made available to me from the clerk of court. The clerk of court makes deposits into the Federal Reserve Bank of New York via electronic funds transfer, EFTs. The clerk has a private money investment account, a PMIA, which has a government code. According to clerk's practice, clerk of the U.S. District Court is the Register and Admiralty. This is coming from sources. I'm giving you where it's coming from. I'm not pulling this shit out thin air. According to the IRS 6209 Decoding Manual and the APP Automatic Data Processing Manual, all 1099s are classified gift and estate taxes. I'm asking for a 1099 OID in this case as I'm not willing to gift you the proceeds. I'm hereby asking for the proceeds in their entirety, including interest. It is presumed that the creation of the birth certificate, my body, the labor therefrom, is pledged to the state. This is absurd, as this is quasi-contract is lacking in full disclosure to the parents and the baby still in their cribs. I have never pledged my rights nor my body, any labor thereof, nor any creation therefrom to any gifting program, including any court or court process. I am not a charitable organization. I demand all funds from the cases, current and past cases, be sent to me within 30 days. Or I will file complaints to the IRS and SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, explaining the fraud and theft committed upon me and issue a 1099 OID. I demand my name and my CECKENSTEINTRUST trust name, Don Kilam, be removed from any and all government databases indicating bad credit, commercial liens, and any and or titles of criminal, felon, or debtor be removed immediately and permanently, nunc-pro-tunc. I hereby request a copy of the depository resolution agreement from the clerk of courts and a W-9 from the judge and the U.S. attorney involved if you wish to proceed with this case. You make sure you attach a blank W-9 to this too. I hereby notice the court that I am the executive of the CECKENSTEINTRUST of Malik Kilam, according to Title 26-303 and 7701. Companies, corporations, associations, and trusts are all descendants. This means my all capital legal name is a legal estate. My all capitalized name falls into this class. I direct all the affairs and financial affairs of this estate. I demand this case account be closed and no further steps taken to securitize it. I hereby ask the court as my fiduciary and trustee to notify local agents and agencies to put me on a do not disturb or do not detain list so we do not have to go through this again. Additionally, I demand compensation from the state in the amount of, for the commercial injury I have sustained from the loss of my property, loss of time from work, and cost of certified mailings of affidavit, notice, and demand letters to the parties involved. The cost of filing and recording, as well as the expenses incurred for traveling as a result of being deprived of the use of my private property, an automobile which was unlawfully converted for public use. If they had taken something from you, you just put your situation. I want to remain confident that the court and its officers want to follow the law and perhaps were unaware of processes of civil and criminal cases, and that the public policy enforcers are ignorant of the aforementioned facts regarding their often administration of the CECKENSTEINTRUST Trust. I expect no further harassment from rogue, unregistered foreign agents and public policy enforcers acting under color of law. That's the letter of rogatory. Jingju Zing, he keeps putting stuff. I went over a lot of stuff. That's a whole different lecture. If you, they're asking how to protect children and stuff. That's not something I can truly go over on here. I went over how to create the business, corporation, a parent to pay who rents. So create a DBA. Then you create your own documents. You become a private member with DonKilam.com. We can go over this. I can educate you on this. But everything is business. You have to understand. Children is property of a corporation. So, real quick, just to answer his question. It's all about enforcing your claims. Once you know how to stand in your position, then it's all about enforcing your claims. You gotta understand, what is a parent? A parent is a pair who rents. Child or children, property of a corporation. That's why they never say sons or daughters. It's all about property. It's all about equity. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's all about corporations. It's all about assets. So you gotta learn how to do it and operate from a trustee standpoint. This stuff's not gonna come overnight. This is why you have to invest in your training. Invest in your training. I just had somebody hit me up tonight that wants to meet with me, and we're meeting. You know, and just because I'm in their area, I'm giving them a huge discount because I'm in their area. But if you're a private member, the biggest package, we come to you. Deal with your issue directly. So we're searching my name. And I got all the files. So here's the membership packages. The highest package. I'll come to you and we'll get you everything set up with you. I'll come to you for 2.5 days. Second package, I'll meet with you for a day if I'm in your area. I'll meet you for a couple hours or something, man, when I'm in your area. But we still do the stuff with you. Get it done with you. Last package, the Lite membership, is just all the files. Like all the files I'm going through now, letters of rogatory, whatever you need. That's the last membership package. So, if you don't know how to act as an authorized representative, you don't know how to act as a chief executive officer, you don't know how to act as a president, these are different titles. You don't know how to act as a trust administrator, you don't know how to act as a trustee, you don't know how to act as an executor, you don't know how to act as an administrator, you're not going to get anything accomplished. You might luck up and get a few things done because you got the lingo down. Because not only they're going to test you, you just out here trying to file paperwork, motherfuckers is going to test you regardless. So, my name, you look up my name, Jeffrey Wayne McBride, Jr., in the state of Missouri, business search. You're going to find that it is a corporation. This is the certificate. It is a company, limited liability company. And there it is. Now, we go back. We go search. My son, my oldest son, Tarion Marquise McBride. Okay? We search Tarion Marquise McBride. I got him tatted on me too, you see it on him. Now, he is a DBA. He's a DBA. You're going to have to learn how to create. There's so many different things, man, when it goes on to do this. When you create this as an asset, you're going to have to learn how to create business acquisitions. But that's a whole different story. This is why the people are running you. Who controls you? Taxpayers? Accountants? Attorneys? Basically it. That's who's running you. Police ain't got no say. So we look at my son, Tarion Marquise McBride. We open that up. It's active. As you can see, it's active. We go pull up the Forbes. So registration of this DBA. This is a DBA, or fictitious name. This is how you lawfully use DBAs. The business name to be registered, Tarion Marquise McBride. There's the address, the Trust Bank in Hannibal, Missouri. Name of owners, individual or business entity. Who owns this entity? Jeffrey Wayne McBride Jr. LLC. It owns 100%. 100% on the public side. Jeffrey Wayne McBride Jr. LLC. The LLC owns the child. The child's name. Then you have to learn the trust side, creating the beneficial trust certificate documents. Learn how to acquire those documents. You have to learn how to acquire the birth certificate. You have to learn how to acquire all their contracts and put all these in the trust. So that's just for private side, the true private status correction for the child. And if you don't understand it, you need more training. This stuff's not going to come overnight. I've been doing this since I was 17. Been studying this since I was a little kid too, but I really started getting into this when I was 17. Now, and also included is a notice to police and law enforcement officers. Your exercise of right to remain silent. No consent to any warrantless searches. You can put your number right there. That's my number right there. Diane 407-274-5161. If it's under a trust, that's a trust number. Searches with a warrant. Contact that number. If you're a member, got you all day. If you're a member, you can have them contact me all day, man. We had some issues. Dude's wife didn't speak no English. He got locked up, right? So we'll go to Texas. She wants me to come to Texas. She wants me to help him out. But she wants help now. She knew his paperwork was good to go. They still took him. She couldn't explain it to him. But she had his paperwork. She didn't know what to do. So I had one phone put on Google Translator while I'm talking to her. You know what I'm saying? We got shit done. Got him out. Got him out in less than 24 hours. And we always tell them to contact our attorney in fact. Ask them for their business card. You can hand them this piece of paper. Also, what you want to attach is the definitions of a person. Original definition according to Daniel Webster. A person is primarily the mask of an actor used on stage. Daniel Webster says, the greatest thought that ever entered my mind was my personal responsibility to a personal God. The word is derived from the Latin word persona, which was the mask or artificial face worn by an actor on the stage. All of this is of the occult, supernatural witchcraft. Our languages we speak are theirs. Whenever we do anything in person, we evoke the dead as a medium. Court summons. What do you do with a summons? You go and summons dead people. Of a legal fiction is bringing the dead to life in court. Corporation. Follow me? Ation means to bring action. People are dead in the law. Non-persons do not exist and have no exercise of rights or privileges that are alienated or fictional. Ones whose existence is systematically ignored. So you must wear the mask. So what is status? Before you have stated in court, you're dead. They can't hear you. So this is why you have to update your status. The status of a person is his or her legal position or condition. So certain rights are granted to you of that status. So if you go in there and say you're a king, that's a status, that's a title. So your rights are attached to that title. Your rights are so status and title can kind of be the same thing. So when you go in there as a defendant, that is a status or your title. So you have to go in there and know who your status is. So when you go in there as white, you go in there as black, that's your title. You go in there utilizing a social security number, that's the form of your titles. You understand trust. Trust has access to your title. So when you go in there under their titles, you're operating under their trust. You have to operate under titles that does not fall under their jurisdiction. I'm just saying, you're playing the game regardless. You're here playing the game regardless, so you got to learn the rules. You got to learn the rules. You got to take the time to invest in yourself. You take time touching yourself every day. That's why I just want to keep it 100. You take time to be on Facebook every day. You take time to be on YouTube every day. That's how you found me. So you got to take time to study as well. You got to take time to yourself as well. Get to know yourself. Get to know these things. 900 hours? So look, 900 hours makes you an expert. 900 hours makes you an expert. If you did an hour a day, think about it, you did an hour a day, that's 30 hours a month. But say you work at your job 40 hours, that's most of your life. 40 hours a week, that's a lot. So you got to learn how to take a part-time job. Do what you got to do some setbacks, get in struggle mode. Do what you got to do to get where you need to get, to see what you want to see. Don't wait till you're in a crisis until you have to learn this shit. Status pronounces what you actually have the rights for. A citizen is not a person entitled to constitution per status in court. Your status is one thing, and how court perceives your status is another on how the law applies to you. So you should update your status as a national and not a federal citizen. So once you know who you are and how they apply to you, then you know how to invoke your rights properly. Examples of status are a U.S. citizen, a resident, state citizen, American national, non-resident, foreign national, foreign resident, a tourist, a secured creditor, single, married. These are statuses. Your status is critical of how you will be treated under law. So standing. What is standing? Proper standing is to present itself. You can now present yourself. But standing does have requirements. If you're in court, someone would have to be injured. You must have suffered or will suffer. So this gives you standing. You follow me. You must have suffered or will suffer. This gives you standing. After you have status, this is what gives you standing now. Now they can hear you. There has to be a causation, connection between the injury and the conduct complained of, and not result of some third party in front of the court. You know, attorneys are just third parties. So there's no causation. Now, redressability. It must be likely as opposed to speculative. The court can resolve the matter properly. Can the court resolve this matter? It's another way to get standing in court. More examples of standing are plaintiffs, defendants, attorneys, called witnesses, and friends of the court. These are different people that get standing in court. A right of people to challenge the conduct of another in court. Attorneys are agents. Attorney means a turnover. It's an agent for someone or authorized to act for something. This is why you can sign over your power of attorney to people. So the power of attorney is the principle that appoints another person to act as an agent or it can be limited to certain functions, terms, and conditions. Principal can revoke power of attorney at any time. So no, I'm not a licensed attorney, but I am an attorney in fact. I'm an attorney in fact for the affairs of Don Kilam. I'm an attorney in fact for Malik Kilam. I'm an attorney in fact for Jeffrey Wayne McBride Jr. LLC. Do you follow me? And this is how they speak. These people are debt collectors. They only operate under the titles that they're doing business as. I'm trying to make this stuff simple as possible. Because if we go back to 28 U.S.C. 3002, we know that all courts are tax courts. Because if you're in a court situation, you're in a court jam right now, is it a tax issue? If not, then is there permission from Congress? Where's your delegated authority order from Congress? I'm looking up your rules, 28 U.S.C. 2002. And under these definitions, if it's a state case, then you belong to the United States. So you have to abide by these rules. Attorney in fact is an alternate or a legal appointed legal rep, proxy, or surrogate. Attorney of law means color law. Of means without. Color means fiction or similar to something that is real. And remember, in court, it's always law of the flag. So pay attention to the flag that's being flown. And I always try to put if you have your own flag, I always put my own flag on my documents. A principle of maritime and international law that the sailors and the vessels will be subject to the laws of the state corresponding to the flag flown by the vessel. Because you got to understand one, the admiralty and maritime as well. It's contract law. So when you enter your ship, you enter into contract with the captain. If I were to go to court, I would hold everyone accountable. I would let them know they are designed. They are designed to beat you in public. So do not cross the bar. That makes you enter into the contract. So always make your first appearance from the gallery. Always. So here's what I would do if I'm already in court. And I wouldn't go. I would get my documents together and send the documents and handle it through paperwork first. But if you must go, here's what you do first, man. We're going to get to that next. We're going to get to that next. I need to roll another one up, man. But if you're following along, I have it up there. What we going to go over? It gets good, man. If you find this information valuable, you know what to do, man. Leave a donation on the Cash App. That's MoreBeauty7, MoorBeauty7. Again, that's MoorBeauty7. Also, you become a member, and we can go over we can go over what you need directly. We can look at it from different angles, different points of view, to see if we can't skin this cat here. See if we can't get you educated on moving forward in your proper status and standing. Do you understand? You know, one proper status and standing is a Marcus Cure, for those who don't know. So let's go and look up what a Marcus Cure is. These are vocab words. If you want, first we'll look up nunc pro tunc, because I didn't even have everybody. I didn't even put that in there for you guys, because I was just hoping that you guys would look it up on your own. But I know a lot of you guys don't. I know a lot of you guys are lazy. Y'all expect Don Kilam to do it all. And Don Kilam is not going to do it all. Don Kilam is going to put you on the right track, right path, give you the keys. You have to open that door. You open up that door, pimpin'. That's what makes you a god or goddess in this game. That's what makes you the creator. Nunc pro tunc is a Latin expression in common legal use in the United States, the United Kingdom, and other countries in general. A ruling nunc pro tunc applies retroactively to correct an earlier ruling. So it just means that you put it on file. There's no such thing as time. The time is always now. Now you're implementing a little fact. This is some stuff they can understand. It corrects the record. You corrected your record. So if you made a plea already, you would withdraw your plea and enter a negative plea on the general traverse. This is what I would do. And I would enter that nunc pro tunc. I would rescind all my signatures. Nunc pro tunc, from the beginning of time to forevermore. You can put that on there too. From the beginning of time to forevermore. Now, forgot what we was looking up. That's nunc pro tunc. You have to understand these definitions. All right. Definition of sui juris. Sui juris, S-U-I-J-U-R-I-S, means of age and independence. In law, it means the right to contract. That's how it was given to me. The first place I found it was in Amendment 6 of the United States Constitution. I was going to look up another word. I forgot what I was going to look up. Y'all remember the word, put it in the chat. These are words. Certain words. There we go. Marcus Cure. Thank you. They already knew what it was. A Marcus Cure, an impartial advisor, often voluntary to a court of law in a particular case. So the rule under it says under code. This is I don't know what this is Australian. The role of a Marcus Cure is a friend of the court is to assist the court by drawing attention to some aspect of the case which might otherwise be overlooked. So, another standing in court, you become an ordained minister because the Bible's a fact in the courtroom. This is over your state. You can have spiritual advisors, right? And they can come in as a Marcus Cure. You can have clergy as a Marcus Cure, be a friend of the court. Because the Bible is a fact in the courtroom. Look, South Florida clergy signs a Marcus Cure. But I mean, you can sign a Marcus Cure. You gotta understand, the Bible's a fact in the courtroom. Canon law, ecclesiastical, this is all dealing with the soul. If they invoke God, you can bring your clergy. You follow me? But you have to be the clergy. In order for the clergy to be right, you have to file the correct documents with the county. Now, don't cross the bar, ever. Make your appearance from the gallery. Simplest way, if you know, trust. You know, trust. I'm here by special appearance. Never claim to be the name. I'm here by special appearance, grantor and beneficiary of the estate being administered. In this case, relation to the named defendant. I am not herein in a representative capacity. And this is a court of record, right? For the record, I reserve and retain all my rights at all times and waive none ever. Never claim to be the name. It's all a play. It's all a game. The book is the book of life. The judge is kind of like you're praying to him. You always have to pray to him for relief. Okay, this is why I say it's ecclesiastical. You got to pray for emotion. You got to pray for relief. Then you got to bring your clergy in. You follow me? And you can play all these different roles. You can set up different DBAs and give them the proper certification. Give them the proper certification and wear all these hats and be called upon witnesses under all these hats. You could be anybody you want to be. I'm giving y'all game right now, yo. You feel this information is valuable. Cash App. Cash App. Cash App. More Beauty 7, MOORBEAUTY 7. You can be anybody you want to be. Are we on the record? You follow me? We on the record? So first, I'm here by special appearance as grantor and beneficiary. This is the trust now. Of the estate being administered in this case, relation to the named defendant. I am not in a representative capacity. And this is a court of record, right? For the record, I reserve and retain all rights at all times and waive none ever. Nunc pro tunc, from the beginning of times and forevermore. I am here to help administer this matter for the benefit of the court. If the prosecutor has a valid claim against the man, me, the man, who is beneficiary to the estate of the named defendant, let me see it, and I'll tell you if I am the named party or not. If you don't rebuke anything, then it stands as fact in the courtroom. That's when anything, affidavits and everything, they're not going to be able to respond to this. I'm here to help administer this matter for the benefit of the court. I'm a friend of the court now. Marcus Kire, I'm a friend of the court now. I'm here, Your Honor. I'm here to administer this matter for the benefit of the court. If the prosecutor has a valid claim against me, the man, who is the beneficiary to the estate of the named defendant, let me see it, and I'll tell you if I'm the named defendant or not. Mr. Prosecutor, please present me with the verified claim. This works for virtual court too. You go to the members, you become a member, the YouTube, there's one that had a virtual court meeting. First they called my name, then they act like they never heard of me. We don't see you here on the docket. It disappeared. Magic. If they tell you to cross the bar, if I cross the bar, I'm not entering into any contract with the court, correct? If I cross the bar, I'm not entering into any contract with the court, correct? They don't say nothing, so I assume that as not. Judge, with all due respect, I have no intention to board your ship. I operate under the laws of the Republic, and I hereby invoke the laws of the Republic to manage my affairs in my court. My court is hereby set under the laws of the Republic. I can operate just fine from here. Thank you, Judge. I'm here to help you administer this case in a speedy manner, so let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect, I have no intention to board your ship. I operate under the laws of the Republic. I hereby invoke the laws of the Republic to manage my affairs in my court. My court is hereby set under the laws of the Republic. I can operate just fine from there. Thank you, Judge. And I'm here to help you administer the case in a speedy manner. So let's get on with it, shall we? Always do your best to agree and go along with them and help them out. And always ask the question. Always end with a question because the master asked the questions. The master asked the questions. The master asked the questions. The slave answers. It's that simple. Now, if they do make you cross the bar, make sure you tell them I'm not entering a contract. If I cross the bar, it's only under duress that I shall cross it. And with my reservation of rights at all times. Are we clear on this? If I cross the bar, it's only under duress that I shall cross it. With my reservation of rights. Are we clear on this? So these are certain things to go to court. We went over some of the documents. There's other ways, just like the main things, the power of attorney. Get the liens, rescind all the signatures. Waive all their benefits and privileges that they give you to any adhesion contract. You have to waive all their benefits and privileges. Also, if people were looking for the bond on there, I included that in this page. I'll make sure that if you join every week, just ask me. Make sure you get a $10 donation. I'll make sure you get this. And when you join every week, we're here every Friday. I'm showing my screen. I'm going over this stuff with you guys. You need to understand this is your authority. If you didn't hurt nobody, you can do what you want. If there's no victim, it's not real. If they try to make you do anything, by what authority do you come before me? By what authority does an actor in fiction come before me? By what authority does an actor in fiction present itself in my court? By what authority does an actor in fiction presume to give an order to this court? What is your authority to question mine? And we do not explain this. We do not interpret. We do not babble. If they ask, we put the court of district attends. If they ask about it, well, the district attends appears in the Bible. That's the court of the living man, sir. Any more? Listen, what is your authority to question mine? No act or judge can justify their authority. Okay? They give you a warning. This is your first warning and only warning. Do it again and I'll arrest your bond. Do I make myself clear? Alternative statements include, are you questioning my authority? I'm issuing a warrant for the rest of your bond. What's your name? You're now working under my bond. If they ask who you are, I say, I am who I say I am. Who are you? My mother calls me son. My children call me father. Can you show me something for my name for presentment? They ask for you to sign anything. That's usually for appearance bond or performance bond. They ask you to sign something. You ask for their name. And you put on the back of that piece of paper, arrest warrant made payable to the bond of in their name. When you got to understand, listen, check this out. You understand when you say your name's a trust. So we got the Malik Kilam. My name's Malik Kilam. It'd be the Malik Kilam Trust. John Doe. The John Doe Trust, right? It's the same thing with the bonds. The John Doe bond. The Malik Kilam bond. So this is why you got to name it that. And they're going to understand it when you present these on the record. They have to push them forward or it's fraud. This is what the court set up for. It's a bank. Bitch means bank. It has a clerk. The clerk is the one who collects the money. We just went over this in the letter of rogatory. And then it's private businesses and you're gifting everything. But when you assess it, it becomes a tax then because you assessed it. You're assessing, you're saying you want these funds back when you pull it out from that gift, when you pull it out from that trust, when you pull it out to another corporation. From a corporation to a private corporation, those are private agreements. It's not taxable. But when you assess it on the public side, now it's taxable. And then they owe that to you because all debts are prepaid and they're operating out here with the public. You can exercise your authority. You can deputize marshals. You can remove officers. You can give notice of liens. You can order arrests. You can issue arrests. You can order removals from the room or the building. You can order removals of cases. You can order terminations of cases. You got to understand, a demand means assertion of legal right. And we never file motions or petitions. You don't consent to any benefits, privileges, negotiations, or submissions to a foreign authority. Don't take pictures. Tell them that's taken from your soul. That's against your religion. You have the right to freedom of religion, right? No, you can't take my picture. It's against my religion. I don't consent to wearing a prison uniform. I'll put one on if you put one on. I don't consent to being shackled. And I don't consent to being an overnight guest. If I'm here in the morning, I will order your arrest. Always demand that they put their delegated authority before you. And you got to understand what a marshal is. A constitutional crisis. A marshal has the right to shoot anyone creating a constitutional crisis. So, always demand. Are you attempting to create a constitutional crisis? This is treason. Are you committing a constitutional crisis? I'm a foreign national. I'm an American national. Call the marshals if you have to. Call them. And that's what I would say. Are you attempting to create a constitutional crisis? They're creating a constitutional crisis. I'm an American national. Always let your attitude do the talking. Look them straight in the eye, never back down. Be fair and calm and show no fear. Always display your authority. But there's the peace bond, the covenant of peace bond. You can put your higher power name. This one says Yahweh. Mine says, my peace bond is in the covenant of peace in the Almighty Allah. That's my peace bond. And if they don't abide by it, refusal to sign this document dishonors, compromises, refusing party confession that you're public property. Always demand where the presumed authority arrives. Where does your presumed authority arrive? Is your presumed authority superior to my authority of the world? Is your presumed authority greater than my higher power, Allah? Yes or no? Am I public property? Yes or no? Does the defendant in fiction have fingerprints? Why do you wish to fingerprint the defendant in fiction? Why? If you're on the record, am I speaking to you through the act of a physical motion? Can the defendant in fiction speak? Always ordered the case to be dismissed at every given time. I'm ordering this case to be dismissed, and I would like to file the order with the clerk as a foreign judgment and give it to him. Give it to the clerk on the record. They ask if you're an attorney, right? I happen to be an attorney in fact. I understand you to be an attorney in fiction. Where is your authority? How do you deign to question my authority? What gives you that authority? How do you presume it? I'm standing here as the court. I'm here by issue of a great writ. I hereby issue a great writ of habeas corpus in the original jurisdiction. Does anybody have the authority to come before me and to plead just cause to hold the defendant? When no one comes, then you order the dismissal of the case in fiction and the release of the body. Demand to remove your private property and remove the shackles. The public business is concluded. Make sure you're always on the record. Excuse me, for the record, my court, are you attempting to order me to present myself as a United States person? Excuse me, for the record, my court, are you attempting to entice me into slavery by ordering me to present myself as a United States person? Then you order them for arrest for enticement to slavery or trafficking in slave capital. These are capital crimes. Always demand to see the Sir, do you have a 1099 OID on the charges? When they say no, say, then my public business is concluded. You can create your own seals. There's so many different ways to skin this cat. But make sure you get your documents notarized. Knowing that it's a bank, you go to your bank, they can't look at everything. You can get it, the banker's signature stamp or the medallion stamp, okay? Make sure you put 2-cent stamps on the top of the documents. You sign through the stamps. You sign the back of the documents like a check. This is what I do. Sign and date all rights reserved without prejudice. Attach to Form 56. Attach a blank W-9 and 1099 OID. Make sure you get a standard Form 28 as well. Attach a promissory note. Okay? Send certified mail to the clerk of the courts. Make sure to send to their name. Example, Jane Doe, doing business as Illinois County Clerk. You gotta understand, this is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, please seek counsel. This is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. If you find this educational, if you find this informational, if you find this very entertaining, leave a donation on the Cash App, MoorBeauty7, MoorBeauty7. You want to become a member? go over some of this stuff in detail. This is what we do all day, every day. Rock with your boy Don Kilam. You get access to all the meetings, private, whatever, man. This is what we do. All access to the files. Check it out. DonKilam.com. DonKilam.com. Now, also, you're going to want to always put your case numbers at the top and label them as exhibits. This is what I do. The notice of legal counsel. So, you want to release your legal counsel if you have any legal counsel already. And you can send a letter to the courts. Make sure you have a POA, a general power of attorney in fact. A general power of attorney. You can do it for yourself, you can do it for another person if they're incarcerated. This is how you get their power and act on behalf of them. Also, a notice of mistake. Notice of mistake. And it's just correcting the record of your name, showing you're not you're the sole beneficiary. This is for the public side. You put on the record with the courts. Statement of facts breaks it down just like the letter of rogatory. You want to make sure you enter a special appearance. You always challenge jurisdiction. And there's a bunch of different cases of why you should challenge jurisdiction. Because they don't have lawful jurisdiction. Now, ecclesiastical depot. You want to put that in because everything is expressed in trust. While we have expressed in trust our real property, and while no consent has been given, no protest otherwise made that such conveyance is unlawful, we bring attention to our mistake of fact by failing to give proper notice of our competent living status. As our actions in this instrument make our status clear, any temporary testamentary trust, certificate by or derivative thereof formed upon such errors of presumption as our abandonment, loss, death, or incompetence must be immediately dissolved, including a full account provided to us without delay. You understand? So, a Bible's a fact in the courtroom. You got to understand that's like a will and trust. Old Testament, New Testament. So you're presumed dead. Again, that's what I'm going to say. It's like a will and trust. You got to understand estate planning. Challenging jurisdiction again. Now, there's the Form 56. That's how you appoint the judge as fiduciary. Now, be mindful on Part 3. It shows where to put the court information. Court and administrative proceedings. These are IRS tax forms. That appoints the judge as your honor-bound, duty-bound fiduciary. Then he has to do what you say on the trust. Always attach the blank W-9. It's right there for you. That's what a W-9 is. A W-9 is requesting for the taxpayer identification number. Because we need it because this is a tax issue. All courts are tax courts. Then there's the 1099 OID. Always attach a blank one. Tell them to fill it out. Now, once you have proper status corrected, this is the good part right here. And then I'm going to close it. I'm going to call it a night after this one. I appreciate everybody leaving donations too. We got I'm gonna go ahead and call off some names. I'm gonna call y'all names. We got Solomon, peace and love. We got Dionizo. We got Carol. Peace and love. We got Cynthia, peace and love. We got Brian, peace and love. Terry, peace and love. Amanda, peace and love. V.E., peace and love. John, Wiley, peace and love. Deidre, peace and love. David, peace and love. Robbins, peace and love. Greg, peace and love. Brian, peace and love. Brian always dropping donations, like all the time. Goddess Serenity, peace and love. Leon, peace and love. Lucky, peace and love. Corwin, peace and love. Barrington, peace and love. Raymond, peace and love. Teresa, peace and love. I appreciate y'all. Now, last but not least, Now we'll go over creditors and bonds more next week, okay? That can be the topic of discussion next week. And real quick, I want to touch the the foreclosures, because we did have a foreclosure question, okay? Now let me see exactly what he said. I'm pretty sure he said foreclosure. Yeah, foreclosures. Robin said foreclosures. So, you're in a court jam right now. The bonds that you're going to need to know about is the bid bonds. That's the standard form 273, 274, and 275. Again, 274, 273, 274, and 275. All right? And it breaks down right there in the PDF, which came from Stop the Pirates, Jeff Anderson. It's for informational purposes only. Sharing this as education. So, you got to understand, you come in as surety, and you got to understand how to act as a principal. So when you act as a principal, your status is corrected. You're operating from an authorized representative capacity. You understand this role. Then this is when you fill out the performance bond, which is a reinsurance bond for the bid bond. On the reinsurance bond, you'll put yourself down as the guarantor or the reinsurer. The performance bond is $274 to file. You can underwrite the bid bond with the performance bond if you're in district court, such as child support. You type in the case number and it will tell how much your bond is. Use the CUSIP number, a 9-digit number on the back of your Social Security number. It's in red or blue numbers. Don't let the judges put you in jail. Discharge your debt by yourself. The judge makes so much money for you going in jail, and then it gets sold on the stock market. They want to keep you in the system because it makes them money, so stop doing that. So, the first form, an affidavit of individual surety. And that is the standard form 28. Then the payment bond. The payment bond. That is standard form 25A. That's the payment bond. These all get filed with the district courts. Now, the type of organization that you're going to use, you're going to see it right there. You're going to see it right there. Everything's right there. Payment bond, standard form, that's 25A. And you can send this to the judge. You tell the judge, once you get it filled in correctly, you fill it in correctly, sign it in, and you tell the judge to look it over. He's now your fiduciary. He's your public servant. The bid bond. The bid bond is next. The bid bond is standard form 24. And that's the bid bond. Read through it. We'll go over this stuff next week. More detail. So we've got the bid bond. Then you got the reinsurance agreement in favor of the United States. And that is standard form 275. Now standard form 273 is the reinsurance agreement for a bond statute or performance bond. So this is the performance bond itself right here. And this is when you go to a bail bonds person or something, these are the things they're filling out. This is their business. This is what they're doing. If they can do it, you can do it. Duh. They're people too, right? Now standard form 274 is the reinsurance agreement for a bond statute, which is the payment bond. Now you just got to make sure when you underwrite it, it says the form is to be used in cases where it's desired to cover the excess of a direct writing company's underwriting limitation for reinsurance instead of co-insurance on bond statutes, payment bonds running to the United States. Execute and file this form as follows. Original and copies, as specified by the bond approving officer, signed and sealed, shall accompany the bond or be filed with the time period shown in bid or proposal. So this is why you have a trust administration private bank in your name established. If you look up the name Jeffrey Wayne McBride Jr., LLC, it is a trust administrative private bank in Hannibal, Missouri. You got to understand. So you got to learn how to first
minimize liability. And then second, learn how to put it all where it doesn't come back to you. It's the corporation. You're coming from a bank standpoint. It's not you. It's a corporation. So that's that crack I put together for y'all tonight. Now, that's why I included also in the email a little bit more about bonds. Bonds and their creditors, okay? And when you read through this book, the hidden commercial court process, a bond is a supporting credit authorization. The bond is the debt side of the implied contracts that result when your grandparents took all their gold to the Federal Reserve Bank. So bonds are supporting credit authorization. A bond is always evidence of a debt. It can be a liability to the debtor or an asset to the creditor. So when they say you understand your charge, you're accepting that bond. When you accept the bond, you're giving them credit. You're giving them your credit when you accept the bond and charge. And you're pledging your labor. You're pledging everything. So, on the creditor and holder side of the bond, evidence of a debt, when you use a bond for discharge, you are using your credit backed by the implied bonds resulting from your pledges to help the U.S. through its bankruptcy. There is no value limit to this bond as you voluntarily agree to pledge every bit of substance you ever get until the money is back into circulation. This is what the birth certificate represents. All the substances you have, your cars, dirt, shoes, food, toothbrushes, was acquired by giving the merchants Federal Reserve notes. You can never get title to things unless you pay for them. Since there is no money in the U.S., only debt paper, every time you get a pair of shoes, you are exchanging the debt for the shoes. In the U.S., since 1933, there's an acceptable practice. Outside the U.S. and the States, it's not acceptable. So these are debt notes. Money is just debt notes. These are bonds. These are debt notes, Federal Reserve notes, debt notes. People don't, you remember silver certificates, silver dollars, gold certificates, gold coins. Now, appearance bond, the stuff we were just going over, okay? Just went over the bid bond, the appearance bond, performance bonds, okay? Appearance bond. This is a bond that assures you will appear in a court proceeding. It is not a catch-all bond that covers everything that will come up in the case. To get the appearance bond, you have to give your word. Your word. They say, bond, my word is my bond, and I'll be damned if I allow you to extort it on the record. That you will appear to finish settling an account. To get the appearance bond, you have to give your word that you will appear to finish settling this account. It is assured by the hearing officer. If it is requested, and if there is no controversy, if you are honorable enough not to start arguing with the hearing officer or the compliant, or the prosecuting attorney, you will get this bond. There must be no controversy. This act is voluntary. If there's a controversy, that means there's a dispute. You come in there, you demand audits, because it's all a tax issue. All courts are tax courts, 28 U.S.C. 2002, unless it was there by Congress. The surety bond is used to subrogate liability from one party to another. It is similar to an indemnity bond. You can issue a surety bond to relieve someone who is in dishonor of potential financial damage. You can identify an honorable party who may have made a mistake by volunteering his surety. Then there's a case bond. This is the bond in the nature of the Replim bonds. The Replim bonds was formerly used in common law equity. Then they got public hazard bonds. There's so many different bonds that are issued off your name. But the most important, performance bonds guarantee that the parties to a contract will not be damaged by the lack of conduct of an officer. So when you create a performance bond with the bail bondsman if you get bailed out. You create a performance bond if you get out of the courts on your own recognizance. It protects them to loss due to inability or refusal of a contractor. And usually it's your body attachment that's attached to these bonds. And then you go to look the book up, man. You got to look it up. You cannot create a public debt. You gotta understand. So here's the 10 rules. The fiction and the real cannot mix. The public and the private cannot mix. That's the yin and the yang. Rule number 2, stay in honor at all costs. Understand, rule number 3, there is no money, just fiat currency or credit. There's no money, just fiat currency or credit. So they need your currency, they need your labor, they need your energy. And they can express that in forms of notes. Rule number 5, do your best not to participate in public plays. It all has to do with trust. All has to do with trust. You got to understand the different definitions. Trust, a legal entity created by a grantor for the benefit of a designated beneficiary under the laws of the state and the valid trust instruments. And there's more definitions there. Write that shit out. So, who created the original trust for you when you come into the birth certificate is whatever state you was born. So if you was born in Illinois, state of Illinois was the creator of the original trust on behalf of you. And there's in this the creditors and the bonds, it shows exactly what you need to do, the lingo of the trust. And who is the trust? Corpus, the body attached to the trust. So you got to learn how to balance the debt. Learn that it's an administrative process. Learn that it's a court of record. Court of record for a public trust. Just like a city council meeting. All in favor say aye, all opposed say nay. That's court. Okay? And then you gotta fill out the bond. So there's a public side, there's a private side. The private side is all paperwork. And remember, 28 USC 3002. Subsection 2, court means any court created by the Congress of the United States, excluding the United States tax courts. So these are all tax courts. Now, before I get off here, I said I'd touch the foreclosures. We're going to go over some foreclosures. Quick overview of the foreclosure process, and then I'm going to call it a night. If you find this information valuable, you know what to do. Leave a donation at donkilam.com/donate or the Cash App. And that's MoreBeauty7, MoorBeauty7. The weekly donation for this class. Join in and I'll answer your questions the best I can. Is going to be by sending the weekly $10 donation to join this class. To be interactive. To get whatever files I shall be going over. So next week we'll go more over detail in depth over creditors and bonds. Now, remember, this is not to be construed as legal advice. This is for informational and educational purposes only. Now, there's two different ways. A couple different documents I'll file when dealing with foreclosures. So the first one, you got to understand that operate from an authorized representative capacity. I would come from a holding company or my private bank. I would be a bank, and I would always put my seal on my flag, on my logo, on my documents. Now, you have to do a proof of claim first letter. There's a certain letter you have to file, and I help people go over this. I help people learn this, showing that you're the creditor in this matter. Breaking down the fraud that's going on with the mortgage pass-through trust. And the allegations are going to be that you're the creditor in this matter. So if it was me, I'm going to speak as if it was me in my foreclosure. I'm the creditor in this matter. You are the debtor. This works for mortgages as well. This is the proof of claim letter in the debt dispute letter right here. You are the debtor in this matter. You are not the creditor or the assignee of the creditor in this instant matter. I am not the debtor in this matter. You are not the real party in interest in this matter. You or any of you did not put their assets at risk in this instant matter. You or any of you have not lent debit credit in this instant matter. You or any of you commingle definitions to confuse and or mislead the borrower in addressing the distinct products of a mortgage. Specifically, the two separate documents are mortgage and note. You or any of you purposely destroyed the genuine original note to securitize a new and fraudulent one. You or any of you are calling the note promissory note and or deed of trust note a note, and when in reality the note is a security by true definition. Y'all see the drift, and it goes on. It goes on. There's more and more and more. My proof of claim letters for foreclosures are 15 pages. And then you have to assess the damages as well. Then, secondly, you're going to have to learn the process. So once they get that letter, we send another affidavit of claim and demand to the bank and to the actual mortgage company, the original ones. If they sold it, all the mortgage companies, the chief financial officers who we addressed it to, okay? Now, after this, we're going to send a complaint to the Secretary of State. And there's certain ways you have to fill out the letter, man, and do these things. It's not something I can go over right now all day. These are all different issues, all different classes. These all take time. But the people that we're going to want to put on notice is the Department of Treasury. And they're in violation of insurance of mortgages and bonds, okay? And then their RIMIC fraud report under the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Now with the IRS, because we understand everything is issues, tax issues, and only the banks can do the 1099 OIDs, or corporations can do 1099 OIDs and 1099As, okay? So you're going to want to acquire it with the 1099A. This is what I would do. And then you're going to have to file a 1066, a Form 1066. And it's important. You understand what a Form 1066 is. And when you do the cover letter, the IRS does this for you. You don't have to do nothing. They're the tax experts. You don't understand what a 1066 is. A Form 1066. A U.S. real estate mortgage. It's a RIMIC income tax return. That's what it is. But RIMIC stands for Real Estate Mortgage Investment Conduit. But it's a RIMIC income tax report, okay? They're not filing taxes. Remember that. So you're going to want to send the 1066, and it's going to come from your trust in the state, because you're going to when you have this issue anyways, you're going to want to sell beneficial interest over to the title company and create a trust for this anyways, and have beneficial interest. So with the IRS, you're going to want to file the Form 1041. For foreclosures, it's the 1041, the 1066, with the 1099A. Then 2 weeks after that, you're going to want to fill out the 1099 OID, along with the 1096s as cover letters. Along with the cover letters. Then you're going to want to put investigation of the warranty deed and the deed of trust and the appointment of substitute trustee to the Secretary of State. And if you have a notary division for investigation, do that. You're going to put all this same documentation and application for arrest warrants for offenses against the United States and equitable relief, constitutional crisis with the United States District Courts. Investigation of breach of oath, power of attorneys, securitization, voidable deeds under Title 18 and Title 42 Acts violation with your Attorney Generals. So this is the stuff you're going to want to do, and there's the cover letters right there. This is the stuff I help people do. I got it. I mean, I got it. This is the sauce right here. This is the sauce. I mean, it's not something we can go over in just one setting. But this is the sauce. You got to make sure you have full comprehension of what's going on. But we send cover letters to Steve Mnuchin, the Secretary of Treasury, and their successors. We have cover letters. You have to inform them and tell them what to do. They will act on behalf of you. Department of Treasury, the IRS, they work on behalf of you. They do what you tell them to do. That's it. That's it. I hope that answered your question. I'm tuned in. I'm here. I do classes all the time. You can go to donkilam.com for more information on the classes. I got classes. So, Robbins, I hope that answers your questions about the foreclosure. I'm going to check the live chat now because I wasn't able really to see it. I stay tuned in with y'all every day. We got the free classes on Sunday, Monday's classes. Every first Friday and Saturday of the month is the 1099 OID classes. You're going to want to drop that donation and get that private information. And then when you're ready to set it up, man, you agree to 20%, man. And we'll educate you on your process. I'm always tuned in on regular, man. I'm here all day, every day for y'all. Smoking one, roll one up. Blaze one for the nation. Do you hear me? I don't endorse nobody. I'm a free agent. I'm not signed up with anybody, but I work with a lot of people. But shout out to the Moors for taking their time with me. Shout out to the Nation of Islam for taking their time with me and showing me really what was going on in life and speaking forth prosperity in my life. Gotta hit the mute button so I don't hear myself. Alright. Peace and love, Fresno 75. You gotta be at work. We'll see you soon, Dallas. Peace and love. I'll see you in Dallas. Peace and love, everybody joining in. We got Gerard, Fresno, Natalie Barnes, peace and love. Comrade Pie, Ramis, become a member on YouTube, peace and love. You can get private videos on the YouTube, like I'm gonna make this private just for members too. So good thing y'all was joining in live because it's gonna become private. Because this is that knowledge, this is that priceless knowledge that y'all need to learn though, man. Y'all gotta invest in yourself or it's not gonna be worth anything. You can't get nothing in life for free. I appreciate everybody showing the love, though. Lucky, peace and love. Sister Kristen, peace and love. She said, "Don't give up on us." God. John Wesley Wiley, peace and love. He said, "Do I have to give up my real estate license?" No, a license is just a contract. You would put that in your trust. You would acquire it. It's a contract. It's property. Have a great night, Autumn Charter. Peace and love. Lucky Rose said the phone number has a password. Look at the email. Your security code is in there. I'm not just going to put out this was a call that cost. A donation. Read your email. Read your email. So look, man, a lot of people that deal with me, this is what upsets me the most. You ask me simple questions and then you don't read. It's a security code. Read. Read. You understand? Read. Read what I send you. If there's an issue, send a text. I try to fix the issue. But make sure you're reading everything. People are asking me, when's the call going to be? Read. Did you not see the flyer? The times are right there. if somebody also, I'm not trying to pick on you guys, but somebody also told me I'm not good with the standard time, the Central Standard Time. If you don't know what time it is, Google it. If I don't know that it's 8 o'clock in Cali right now and 10 o'clock in the Central Standard Time, I don't understand that, then I would Google what time is it in the Central Standard Time right now. Google it. Y'all be asking me some crazy stuff. Y'all look, Google does tell you some truth about some stuff. You can even ask Siri. Teresa Barnett, peace and love. You have to do the research too. You have to do the research. So look, when you do the research and you find out I'm telling the truth, don't just automatically assume that I'm telling you the truth. Okay? Don't automatically assume that I'm telling you the truth. I'm going to need you to research. I'm going to need you to research. So when you get in the habit of studying and researching and then bringing back the information, not only did you invest your time and labor in that, so now it has become worth something. And it become of more value. You'll keep adding and building upon that. It will become a habit and pattern on your life, and you can't do nothing but stack and start researching the shit that works for you. And then you'll start focusing and researching the right stuff. You know, when I ask questions, I'm asking the right questions. What's the next asset I can add? That's a question I'm asking somebody, you know? Which business should I be getting into with the business acquisitions? Somebody told me mobile home park. Fuck no. What's wrong with you? Why would I try to monopolize on mobile homes? I don't see it. I'm not going to do it. You know? Now, I understand the nursing field. I don't care how many people's doing it. There's so many nursing homes. There's so many nursing homes. You can buy and sell those businesses. Someone says I'll put them on blast. I'm not putting you on blast. I'm just saying. Jerome Brewer, peace and love. He says, how can you acquire the Lair Rogatory? Become a member and you'll get the files. Right. But no, yeah, man, I'm just saying, so y'all gotta understand, so like I got almost 500 clients, so you gotta understand how valuable my time is. So even looking at an email takes up my time, even looking at a text message takes up my time from a client, or from calls I have scheduled, or from private meetings I have scheduled. I'm not trying to be rude or an asshole. I do my best to get on lives. This is my break away from the business world. It's talking to you guys and helping you guys out. This is my charity work. This is my pro bono work, so to speak. And in return, I start making y'all my clients. I start making y'all my clients. I start making y'all my business partners. And if y'all start studying, listen, I don't care if you dropped out in 3rd grade and you don't know how to spell shit. S-H-I-T. I just told you how to spell shit. S-H-I-T and you still can't spell it. Do you understand? I don't care if you're that mentally retarded. You follow the steps. You do the right research. Repetition is key. You've been learning this. Listen, man. One of my first clients I ever helped out in a case, this dude couldn't do nothing but sell weed. Dude's too dumb to do anything else. Do you hear me? Now he owns a car lot. You hear me? His mama, his people proud of him. Dude was just fighting a weed case. Now he's big more. He's claiming he's a more. You know what I mean? But he's got a car lot. He's selling cars. He's got like 30, 40 cars. Used cars. Nice shit. You got a Cadillac Escalade on there. You know, it's not like no top notch Rolls Royce. You know, Audis and nothing like that. No. But he got some nice shit. I'm proud of him. Shout out to him, man. He took it and ran with it. I think he still sells weed though. But I mean cannabis, whatever. You know, I buy the shit, so who cares? But what I'm saying is, dude did his thing, man. But this is what you got to do. You got to understand when you start updating your status, it's in the position so you can start acquiring and protecting assets. And then minimizing that tax liability. So you protect your assets through corporations, you protect your contracts and assets through corporations, and you protect the tax liability through trust. And that's what it's all about, baby. With that, I'm out. Much peace and love. Again, like I said, leave a donation if you feel this valuable. DonKilam.com/donate. Coming to a city near you. Go to DonKilam.com and just scroll down. Go to scheduled events. Cash App's MooreBeauty7, MOORBEAUTY7. I'm in California for the next week. Then we headed to Texas, baby. Then Louisiana. So make sure you hit your boy up, private members, man. If you become a private member, we'll do our best to set up a meeting with you when we're in the area. That's what it's all about. If there's numerous private members, sometimes we have to meet with 2 or 3 people, but we will get your, if it has to be an all-day meeting, we will get your issues taken care of. Now the Don status members on the DonKilam.com site, not the YouTube site, the DonKilam.com site, we're going to schedule 2.5 days with you regardless. We'll schedule a date to come to you regardless and get you set up from ground zero and get you in a position. The same amount that you donate, we'll make sure you get that right back in credit. You can get that right back in business credit as soon as your D&B clears. I can goddamn guarantee that one right there. Say you donated $5,000, I can guarantee $7,000 within the first week in credit. I can guarantee damn near $50,000 in credit. The first month, you do the steps and the processes right. If not, I give you 50. If you follow my processes and you don't get 50 grand, within, some people got to start slow. So you follow my processes step by step and you don't get 50 grand within 60 to 90 days, I'll give you 50 grand. That's my guarantee. I'll give you 50 grand. But much peace and love. Prosperity is your birthright. Go to DonKilam.com now. Stay tuned. Always here for the people. Much peace and love. Hey, I appreciate everybody that joined me in the chat. It was a great chat. He said, thank you so much. I learned a lot. Look forward to a foreclosure training and documents. Yes, indeed. I'll probably have to set that up soon. Carol, peace and love. She says, thank you. Much gratitude for the guidance and enlightenment. We appreciate you, too. I met you in person, Carol. That was dope. I really appreciated meeting you in person. You're a very beautiful person, and I definitely enjoy your accent. I miss hearing your voice. I need to call you sometime and hear your voice, girl. Straight up, text me. You already know the number, 407-274-5161. I need to hear your voice right now, baby. Well, much peace and love. I love y'all, man. Become a member on the Don Kilam status, YouTube, and you'll be able to see the interactive video with the screen sharing. Much peace and love.